Good afternoon, Tony Virtue speaking, Virtue and Partners with our regular monthly update. And they're probably right that I acknowledge the sadness of Bondi Junction. We have clients there and team members there. Shows how fragile life is and how we need to, respect that and value what we have. The main thing, I guess, this month is still around inflation. They talk about the last mile, and it's proving quite problematic. Get that last 10, 20 basis points out of the inflation numbers. I guess the first thing you think about is the data correct? Next thing you think about is with the growth of services in our sector, and you can see from my graphs there, is there a direct relationship between just lifting interest rates to reduce inflation? To my mind, there's a bit more nuance than that. If you're in the service sector, as we are, and your biggest expense is employees, their biggest expense is mortgages or paying rent. If that's going up, they need more money, you charge the clients more money, it almost becomes a self-fulfilling loop. So I think we need to be a little more thoughtful about interest rate policy just beyond those headline numbers. You can see there that education remains, in fact, the highest of the CPI inputs. In guidance, you can see that the university is very, very busy now. Last year we had 700,000 new migrants into Australia. We had 100,000 in February alone this year. That clearly is a supply-based problem. The supply-based problem is inflationary. Things cost more. You have shortage of people to do things. So that's going to take time to settle down, but it should settle down over time. In the immediate, less likely that interest rates will drop. Again, we're looking on the margins here, RBA at 4.35. If it was up or down 25 basis points, it wouldn't make a massive difference to mortgages. It would to confidence, no question. So probably they'll just hang around for a while. We've got a presidential election in November in the US. Probably around that time, you'd expect there to be some softening of interest rates at that time. Due to interest from clients, I am doing a little segment in the newsletter around the picks and shovels and try to pick out one company in one particular sector that's doing well. And really, it's not a direct recommendation, but just to give you the kind of the way I think as far as how we invest directly. We'll start with the Australian property sector. Australian dream, of course, is to own property, and it's proved to be very effective, very tax efficient for people, but very expensive. So one alternative or addition to owning Australian real estate is to own REA.com. That is realestate.com. By far our largest online real estate business. You can't get much done in Australia buying and selling property without them clipping you into some area. The graph shows over the last 10, 15 years just how that share price has jumped far, far more than property prices have. So sometimes you won't own the picks and shovels, the businesses who dominate a market, who can increase their margins both from suppliers and clients, and are doing something valuable that the community as a whole can see as something worth investing in. I'll continue to do this on a monthly basis. I work for Australian companies and their international equivalents, so we've got something else to talk about there. Finally, as we come up to the budget soon, and then the next financial year, the third level of tax cuts has been legislated. That will mean that for most Australians, they'll have more money in their pockets. From 1 July, there'll also be greater amounts of money in Centrelink payments. That's all in the attached documents there. That, to some extent, will help with higher mortgage payments, higher rental payments. It will give a little bit more disposable income. Hopefully it won't become inflationary, that we'll all go and buy too many handbags and look up the costs of living again. So this should be a positive for the country. More generally, it's been, when I look at what's been going on over in the Middle East, it doesn't take much to change sentiment. So we just need to be pretty hard-nosed about this, look long-term in our thinking, make sure that we're generating enough income to actually cover our costs and expenses. And that's something we spend a lot of time working with clients over. But in general, we should be fairly optimistic. Australia still is the greatest country in the world. It is the obvious place for other countries to invest in. For all of our weaknesses here, there's a lot more stability here than in other places there. Let's leave it there for this month. Just one last thing. We have our Vivid client function on Thursday the 6th of June. We're taking over the Harbour View again, and it's going to be bigger than Ben Hur. It'll be a great night just before the King's birthday to enjoy the best of Sydney, get to meet us all, and to just have a really top night together. So I very much look forward to seeing you all there. Tony Virtue, when experience pays.